Hi everybody. I'm outside working on the bus. So today I am not doing what I said I was going to do. I said I was going to work on the seats, but as you can see, I haven't done anything with the seats. So what I am doing today is something a little different. I kind of dug into it. Yesterday a little bit based off of some stuff that was going on with this. Let me see if I can turn this around. Nope. Can we do that? Nope. There we go. There's the button. Okay, based off this control panel right here. So this control panel right here, so this part down here controls the signs that I took off the bar. It controls the lights. Does a few other things. These up here were already taken out. This up here was already taken out. This controls my rear air conditioner, the rear heat. This controls the mirror heat. That controls the defrost fan. It doesn't work. This didn't work. These didn't work. This didn't work. Obviously, none of these work. So part of my plan, and just something that kind of bugged me, is that blocks what little bit of a cup holder I have and some other stuff. So I was kind of like, okay, how can I relocate the box? Then it came to this wiring issue. And then there's a panel that goes up here. Let's see if I can get to the panel. So this panel actually screws into this, place on the front of the bus, and it covers up all this electrical. So as you can see, there's a lot of wires in here, and this is basically just like a wiring junction for all of the 12-volt wiring necessary to control a bus. So it pulls in the major cabling right here from the battery. So then there's a bus bar here, and it runs into these different 12-volt fusible links. There's a relay here. There's 3 relays here. And then this is basically a bus bar that goes out to various 12-volt accessories inside the bus, whatever that may be, whatever it's trying to power. Additionally, and you can see I've already done some work here. So additionally, this was in here. This was in here right here. So as you can see, this was basically the control module for the lights and the sign, all of the actual bus stuff. Because you can see, like right here, flash red only after amber, flash red when door is open, all this other kind of good stuff. Well, I didn't need any of that. And technically, I have to take some of that out. So I took it out. One thing led to another, and I've got this nice pile of wiring here. And there's still some more to do. There were these 2 plugs that were up here that led into a bunch of wiring mess. Again, as you can see, where I took out some of the plugs and, this bunch of wiring to clean some of this up. Because basically what had happened when they sold the bus, they have to take out a number of components that make it a bus. Like, for example, in this little cabinet right here, there used to be part of the video surveillance system. Well, by law, they have to take that out when they sell it to a private individual, right? And you'll notice like all these little holes in the front of the bus. That was where like some cameras and some other stuff were. So they have to take all that out. Well, that leaves like back in here, like all of these dangling wires, and even like down here, like this end here, if I can get to it. Like this end here, which is part of the video cable for the system. Then I have these dangling wires back here, and just all this wiring that goes through. So I wanted to clean some of that up because in some instances, all they did was just snip the wire. They didn't actually cap it off or do anything. They just cut it and left it dangling. And basically you've got some dangerous issues there with, bare wire. And this is metal. So you could create shorts, any number of things. It's just not a good way to do it. And honestly, looking at their wiring here, I mean, some of this stuff just isn't just isn't the greatest. Like, this is a heat shrink tube that they just use as a butt connector and then never heat shrink, you know, the actual piece. So it's just horribly done. And you can see, like, right here, instead of taking the wires out, they just cut them and then just left that bare. Here's another connector that just, I mean, it just doesn't look good. So, you know, I'm going to clean some of this up. And like right here, you can see this one is black, right? Let's take this off and I'll show you a little bit better. So this one right here is just black and melted. So I'm going to replace this because this is what runs my heater in the back of the bus, right? So this at one point, you know, they've either run it for a long period of time or something, and it's just got really toasty and it's really crunchy. So I'm going to replace that. And here's another set where they just cut it off. I didn't do that. That was that way when I got the bus. It was 2 grounds. Now, granted, it's just grounds, right? And I get it, but it's just grounds, so there's nothing dangerous there per se. But it's just not quality workmanship. You just don't do that. Here's another one down here. Now this, you can see where they just cut this one cap off the front, right? So that's not a ground, that's powered wire, right? So if something goes and touches that, then, you know, we may have a spike of power, a spark or something, right? Here's another shrink tube that they just stuck on there and then never heated up. So again, it's just some cleaning some stuff up. And the other really cool thing, here's and like these two are powered. Those aren't grounds, those are powered. So they've got them bare. But really, one of the cool things about it is, you know, in cleaning a bunch of this stuff up and the unusable stuff, what it does is it frees me up for these right here. So this gives me fused 12-volt connectors already installed that I can use. So there's 2 there. There's like 2 here. There's 2 more right there. So I can use those to power other 12-volt items on the bus that I want to do. So if I want to install some more lights up here in the front cover of the bus somewhere, you know, utilize some of these already existing holes and install some more 12 volts up here in the front of the bus, I've got wiring up here to tap into instead of trying to rerun new wiring, hack into wiring inside the bus dash somewhere, or do something like that. I've already got existing wiring that I can utilize in a very professional manner. I've already got bus bars. You know, I've already got this whole setup up here for these bus bars. I can just tap into it without having to like hack and tap and do all this other kind of good stuff. It's already there. It already exists. I'm not having to reinvent the wheel. It's already fusible. It's fused. You know, I may have to adjust some of the amperage on the fuses, which is fine. That's not a big deal, but it's already there. Plus, you know, I've already got like right here where I took out some stuff. You know, if I need a relay, you know, I've already got some relays here that I can tap into. There's one there. There's 2 here, depending on what the relays are. If it's a timed relay, you know, it may be something I can utilize. I don't anticipate that, but you never know. You know, it may be something I need in conjunction with the door or something like that. Plus, another really cool thing is I cut some of these that lead like all this bundle right here. If I can come out. Okay, so at this bundle right here, right, I'm going to zoom in if I can. Like, so this wire right here is for the right red lamp on the back. Now I'm going to show you this. So that's going to be the right red. This is the right amber. This is the right red. Imagine if you're actually looking at the light on the back of the bus, right? So let's say I wanted to turn this into a bright backup light. I wanted to replace that light with a bright backup light. I don't have to run new wiring. It's right here, right? So I can run my power if I wanted to. If I wanted to run it off of a switch, I can literally run it right here, and then I've got my 12-volt power up here, and then I can just run it to a switch. And it's all right here. I don't have to, again, run something new. So that's kind of cool. And I can do those things. And then the next big project is I've already cut off up top. These had to go legally. I can't run the warning lights or the strobe light by law. These had to be disconnected. either, well, the lights up top have to go anyway, so I can't have the red light or the yellow light on the outside of the bus. I'm eventually going to paint those. So obviously I don't need the functionality of those flashing lights. So I took the relays and the wiring control box, which I showed a little bit earlier, if you missed it. So this is the control box that was up in that panel. This is the control box, and I'll zoom in on it again, right? So this is the control box that set the timing for those. It's basically like a mini PLC, if you know what that is. But this set the timing for those lights. So it would set the flashing and all the timing and all that kind of good stuff. And it's just a little like relay. But I took that out because I don't need it. But, so I also don't need these. These don't work. These don't work. So what I'm planning on doing is I've already disconnected the main cable here. And I'm going to disconnect the power switch. And then all this cabling is going to go. And what that allows me to do is to relocate this box out of my way here, out of my dash way. One, so I can get to my heater controls a little bit better. I can get to my radio because this radio is garbage. And I'm going to replace it with something halfway decent. You know, I'm not going to spend a lot of money, but I think Walmart's got like a cheap little radio I can get for like $60 and replace it. But I can get to my dash, my cup holders and everything. But I'll move this, and then I can get rid of this big arm. I've been debating on it because the arm, I love the classic school bus styling of the arm, and plus, this right here, it's a lock. It's a lock in and of itself. So I don't have to create a new lock on the door. All I have to do is close it. You literally can't open this. And then my door is how I get in and out. But this thing weighs like 60 pounds worth of metal. And again, it's literally right over all my cup holders and everything. It's over my control center here. And I kind of don't like it for that aspect. So I'm thinking about, and I saw this on another guy's video. All he did was he got rid of all this crap. And then he basically took this, just this part of the mechanism, and relocated it to like right here. And he shortened up this. So literally, he would just open it from here. You know, like from right here. And he still maintained the lock mechanism, which was super cool. And you still have kind of that bus kind of look and feel. But it's not in the way. You've got all this mess here back. The fan's going to go because they disconnected it, and I can't find the leads where it goes up in here to repower it. But I might just clip the wires right there and then run some new ones and repower that on a switch from inside somewhere, because like I said, you know, I've got plenty of places I can run that to, but I don't know where. And I know y'all can't see this, but I don't know where the actual power is running through there. And then the other problem I have is I've got all of these little dome lights that are running throughout the bus. Oh, I guess just those two on each side. There's two on each side. Well, they disconnected those somehow, and I can't find the wiring for it. I think it is these little orange ones, because this orange one in the same bundle says dome, but it's connected to this dome light right here, and all the rest of them are kind of in the same bundle. And then this one says dome on it, but it goes down into the chassis. So I think, but I'm not sure, but I think that's connected to those dome lights. So I'm going to try to get those to work, because anything I can get to work off the native wiring in the bus is a big plus. It means I don't have to run new wiring. It means I don't have to do any additional hacking into the bus, which I don't want to do. Anything that's already native there is I mean, I'm not going to say it's good, because I showed you some of the problems we had up here, but I mean, anything that's already solid run was a native wiring loom that was made professionally. Now, whether the guys who tapped into the box up here were professional or not is kind of regardless. But generally, the wiring looms that are made for the chassis of the bus are made in a factory somewhere, and they're usually professionally done. So I'm okay with tapping into that. And then we're going to move on from there. I need some help with the bus seats. I got a neighbor who's going to help me get the bus seats out. It's not a job I can tackle on my own because I have to have somebody under the bottom to hold the bottom bolts while I do the top bolts. Let me see if I can show you those real quick. Hold on. All right, so let's see if I can get some light. So we've got these 3/4 inch bolts on top, and then underneath there's about like the bolt goes through like about 1.5 inches of depth on the bottom. And I can't even get like a long socket or anything on it. So I'm going to try, when the ground dries up, I'm going to try. You can see, it looks like they're super rusty on camera, but they're really not that bad. I've gotten them to turn, so they're really not that bad. They look okay, and it's going to be okay to get off. The really cool thing is, and like under here, see, like this is an actual seat. That was just, what I showed you there was just the front kind of like security thing. That's not a seat. It's just like the backer to keep you from flying to the front of the bus. This is an actual seat. And you can see the actual seats aren't rusty at all, right? And there's only the outer leg. The inner leg, the inner part of the seat is mounted against the wall with these rails, right, like that. And they've never been on the ground to get rusty, right? So these aren't rusty at all. The side rails aren't rusty at all. So it's going to be pretty easy once I get to that part. Excuse me. Is I'm trying to chip away, and my theory is if I can do a little bit at a time, just a little bit, it'll get me where I need to be eventually. Just one little bit. The other problem I encountered is when we had all that rain, and I don't know if y'all are going to be able to catch this on camera or not, I don't know if you could see that the floor is damp. And or if you can see where water has pooled kind of there. I hope y'all can see it on camera. These 3 first windows leaked like a son of a buck. I think you can see right there where that's really, really wet. So that shop towel was sitting right here in the floor, and it was so soaked. You can see where it's still dripping water out of it from where it was so soaked from rain running in. It was horrible. So that's another task, is getting these windows out and getting them sealed. And that's a typical task when you convert a bus, is because these windows are sealed, and they're sealed well from the factory, but after, however, this one's 15 years. So after so many years of just bouncing around, hitting railroad tracks, hitting potholes, and just generally bouncing around on the road, excuse me, bouncing around on the road, those seals get old, they dry out, they crack, they break. It's just one of those things that you do. The roof doesn't leak, which I'm very fortunate about. The roof itself doesn't leak. However, I am going to seal that. Anyway, I'm going to use what they call an elastomeric coating. Not sure what brand. A lot of people go through this really expensive. It's called Henry's Topical or Tropical. I'm not going to use that. That stuff's like $100 a bucket. I can get some other stuff. It's like $50 a bucket. And it does the same stuff. It's some stuff you seal mobile homes and industrial roofs with. The Henry's Tropical is just because that's what like RVers use. And it's just like, RVers use it, it's the high dollar stuff just because the RVers who spend, $500,000 in their RVs use that shit. And, I'm not a $500,000 RV guy. I am going to switch back in the front. I want to show you something that's really, really sweet. I mean, I think it's really sweet. So I'm a big believer in dash mats. I've got one on all my vehicles because they prevent your dash from getting all cracked up and crappy looking. So I got one for the bus. I haven't got it tacked down yet because they come rolled up, and then they as you can see, it's really wrinkled. So I'm letting the sun kind of unwrinkle it and get it out. Get in there. So I kind of like this color. I'm not sure if I was going to like it or not. I get them real cheap. It's coverking.com if you ever if you're ever interested in a dash mat for your vehicle, they're custom tailored to your vehicle. I actually had to get this one for a E350 van because obviously, you know, buses, E450 buses just aren't on, you know, everybody's custom vehicle list. You know, it's just not a thing. Well, whatever. I knew the E350 bus though would be something that would be on there, and this is really just an E350 bus, super heavy duty with or van with a bus chassis on it. So anything that I get that's an E350 will work. But anyway, yeah, that's what's going on today. I got a late start, wasn't feeling too good, but you know, that crap happens. But you know, hopefully with some of this wiring stuff, that kind of gives y'all an idea of what I'm working with. This is a lot cleaner than it was because, like I said, I had this right here had a cable loom that was going through it. This right here had a cable loom that was going through it. There were two hole wiring bundles that came across through here, and then that bus control module was right there. So that kind of sucked. But luckily, I know just enough about wiring to be stupid. However, I'm lucky enough to know that about myself. So whenever I get to something that I'm unsure about, I just stop and don't do it. Now I've just got these are the bundles I was telling you about. So these all go to the back. So I've got to, these all go to the back. These are the bundles I was telling you about. So I've got to, basically for now, tape these off. These aren't powered. These have no power going to them, so they're not going to short or anything. These are just the wires that go back to the lights in the back. So they're waiting for power, but they're not powered, so they're not going to short or anything. See, they won't short or anything. I just need to tie them off, so in case I want to use them for anything later, they'll be available. And then yeah, tidy this up a little bit with some cable ties, get the cable management a little better, especially around my incoming power. I don't like I did look at this last one. If anybody's thinking about asking, I did look at this last one right here. So this actually this one actually runs my rear heat, my rear AC, my mirror heat, and the rest of the auxiliary stuff in the control panel. So that's going to stay. That's not going anywhere. And I'm not enough of a wiring guru. A lot of people take this out and then they just relocate it. I am not anywhere confident enough that I'm going to do that. That's just going to be a no bueno for me. It's going to stay. But like I said, I'll clean this up a little bit and make it a lot more neat and tidy. I'll fix some of these where, like I said, some of these the guys used heat shrink and didn't shrink it. I'll fix that. You know, make it look a lot neater. Maybe clean up some of these. I'll definitely clean up some of these just dangling grounds. And like that one's not a ground. That one's a dangling power, which just drives me insane. I can't believe they would do that. And then I'll fix up that burnt heater cable. Some more dangling grounds. Just to clean it up, make it look nice. And then just so I'm assured that I'm not going to have any issues. And then of course I didn't show you guys, but up here, these right here are the little orange front marker lights. I'll show you outside real quick. Anybody that's still hanging out. So what I just showed you is those 3 marker lights. Now those I have to keep by law. Those are law. You have to have those. Those are the ones that I have to paint or otherwise cover up. So there's the ones in the front. All right, I'll take you around. I'll show you the ones in the back real quick. Okay, and there's the ones in the back. So I have to get rid of those. I mean, not like I have to remove them, but I can't have the red and the yellow. I have to paint them in some way or whatever. And there's a specific rule, like in the back, they can be red. In the front, they can be yellow or something like that. It's just really crazy on how the laws are. And they're different in different states. Like, I don't think Kentucky really cares, but in other states, you can get pulled over for that. Like, you'll notice my upper 3 marker lights in the back are red, not yellow, right? Not amber. So that's a thing. So what a lot of people do is they'll turn and they'll basically switch out the lenses where the ones in the back are all red, and then they'll tie them into the brake lights or the tail lights in the back. so that they've got all red in the back, and that way when they hit the brakes, they've got taillights at the top as well as the bottom, which is cool. And I thought about that, but to do that, I've got to tap the wiring from here to here, to up here. So I've got to tap that wiring, and to do that, I've got to take out the back panel. And I'm going to explore that because my panels aren't riveted in, they're screwed in. A lot of the inside bus panels, let me see if I can show you real quick. So a lot of these bus panels, I don't know if you can see how that's like a star screw? A lot of those are riveted in instead of screwed in. So I may be able to unscrew this, see what the wiring looks like back here, and then, you know, maybe run it up through a channel, because this is also screwed in, and then get to those lights and then see what I can do there. Oh, and here, this is an interesting piece I forgot to show you guys. So here, there used to be an alarm on here. So anytime you had this door open, an alarm would go off. So yeah, I got rid of that. I'll have to cut those off too. They're not powered anymore, but I gotta, you know, dress up the wiring. So yeah, that's that. So one other thing, and you all noticed this, but I didn't mention it. So technically by law, I got to get rid of the word school. I can leave bus, but I got to get rid of the word school. It's got to go. Again, in Kentucky, they don't throw too much of a fit as long as you don't have school on the side. You know, and you don't have like your district or whatever. Mine was a private school, so it doesn't matter where this came from originally. But some people throw a fit. And then, even though this is technically off there, I'm going to clean this up a little bit because I'll have some DOT who will throw a fit that it's halfway visible, and there is no US DOT number for this bus anymore since it's been retired from bus life. But, you know, somebody out there will have a bad day and just be pissy about it. So that's going to go. But again, you can also see where the stop sign is gone because that's a real thing. You know, you got to have those. You got to have those gone, and that'll get you. I did leave the bracket for the front of the bus, the little swing out bar. So I took the bar off, but there's a bracket there. So you can see it's right there and right there. So I left it, and I'm kind of thinking about maybe reusing it for something. I don't know what, but one of the things about, you know, campers and everything is always storage space. So I thought if I got a mounting bracket there for something, you know, let's not take it all the way off. You know, I might use it for something like, I don't know. I don't know what I would use it for. But, you know, I just didn't want to take it off because I may end up deciding I need something somewhere. Who knows? Tools, whatever. I'll figure something out. I did replace the headlights with some super bright LED headlights because the ones I had on it were so dim I could barely see. I did. Well, I was thinking about propane, but if I actually hit something, that would be kind of a bad deal, having a gas or propane tank, Aaron, on the front of that. Water tank, yeah, that's very possible. I definitely did think about something like that. Or anything, you know, just having something on there would be a good idea. You know, thanks for talking about that. So I do want to address, so these mirrors right here, so a lot of people take these mirrors off. All right, these mirrors are actually set, and I'll see if we can see it from the inside. So these mirrors are for a very specific purpose, and they are not for your, not for you to view your, let's see. Okay, so if you can see that mirror on camera, and I don't know how well it does, but what those mirrors are for is for the driver to see the front of the bus for students crossing and all that kind of safety. So a lot of people just take them off. Well, I actually turned that one over there, and again, I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but I actually turned that one over there far enough so I can see the side of the bus, and I just use it as extra visibility, because I figure, you know, there's no such thing as too much visibility when you're driving a big hog like this. You know, there's no such thing as too much visibility. I figure any extra visibility I get on the sides of this thing is good for me. These mirrors right here do a pretty good job. right? But any extra visibility is good with me. I'm super happy with it, and I'm just, you know, I'm good with it. But yeah, so it's getting dark. I'm not sure how in here, not outside necessarily. So I'm not sure what all you're going to see. Anybody who joined, I'm sorry you're not going to get to see any more. I hope you'll go back and watch the rest of the video. But this is what I've got going on so far. Done some wiring, and I hope you enjoyed it. Just like I said, I'm doing a little bit of progress at a time, as much as I can do. You know, one little step, and I'll get there. But you all have a great night, and we'll see you on the next video.